Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. $8,000 worth of Chinese jade has been stolen. The criminal is vicious. His weapon, a handful of buckshot in a handkerchief. Your job, get him.
If you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of long cigarettes. Smoke Fatima. Fatima is the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make Fatima extra mild. And that's why Fatima has a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette. That's why Fatima is doubling and redoubling its smokers. So, if you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke Fatima.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, December 1st. It was foggy in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Ed Backstrand, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. It was 7:15 p.m. when we got to the police academy, the banquet room.
Where do we sit, Joe?
Well, Lee Jones is holding a couple seats for us someplace. You see him?
Oh, yeah. There he is at Bert.
Well, look at him.
2 rings.
Wonder if you could describe them to us.
Well, both rings were relics of the time when the Chinese archer drew his hunting bow with a special thumb ring.
Any particular identifying marks on them?
They both have linings of fine gold to fit them to the fingers of the new owners.
Who are the new owners?
I had just purchased them yesterday before I was robbed. I was on my way to San Francisco to show them to prospective buyers.
Who did you buy the rings from, Mr. Quan?
Mrs. Inez Curtis, a very reputable dealer. We have done business for many years.
I wonder if we could have her business address, huh?
She has her office at her home. It is 1957 Harper Annex off Sunset Boulevard in Beverly Hills.
How many people knew that you had the jade on you at that particular time yesterday?
Let me see. There were only 2 other buyers present beside Mrs. Curtis. I do not recall their names. They were new to me. Mrs. Curtis would know.
Mr. Quan, we know that you're tired. We have just one more question.
Certainly. I wonder if I might trouble you to hand me that tumbler of water with a glass straw.
Surely. Here you are.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Now, those thumb rings, Mr. Quan, would there be any practical disposition of them other than selling them as they are?
Well, hardly, Sergeant. To anyone who really knows the value of jade, it would be unheard of to change them in any way.
I see. Well, thank you, Mr. Quan. We'll do our best.
You know, Sergeant, we Chinese place a great sentimental value on our jade.
We'll do everything we can to recover it.
Thank you. May I tell you my favorite quotation on jade?
Yes, sir.
It is from the writings of Tang Jung-tso. He wrote, "The magic powers of heaven and earth always combine to form perfect result. So the pure essences of hill and water become solidified in precious jade."
Ben and I drove out to 1957 Harper Annex, the residence of Mrs. Inez Curtis. There was no one at home. We left one of our cars. It was 12:22 p.m. when we got back to Central Division.
Here's a phone message for you, Joe.
What's it say?
Call Jess Gonzalez. He's out to Wilshire Division.
Okay, thanks, Ben.
Wilshire Detectives, Dillian.
Hi, Harry. Gonzalez around?
Just a minute. Take on 3, Jess.
Gonzalez,
Friday, Jess.
we got the truck and we got the driver.
We'll be right out.
Something else, Joe.
Yeah?
The kid was right. There were 2 7s in the license number.
You are listening to Dragnet for the solution to an actual case from official police files. Now, here is a real solution to many of your Christmas shopping problems.
If your friends smoke a long cigarette, give the best of long cigarettes, Fatima.
Give Fatima for quality.
The name Fatima has always stood for the best in cigarette quality.
Give Fatima for flavor.
Fatima has a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
Give Fatima. They're extra mild.
Yes, Fatima is the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos blended to make Fatima extra mild. Yes, extra mild.
So give Fatima for Christmas in the attractive golden yellow carton.
It's the long cigarette that has doubled and redoubled its smokers. More and more smokers every day agree Fatima is the best of all long cigarettes.
Wilbur Rasmussen, white, male American, age 31, 5 feet 10 inches, 190 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He was the driver of the truck. Gonzalez and Pena began by checking through all of the reports of trucks impounded during the past 24 hours. There were 23. Out of those 23, they narrowed it down to 4 possibilities. The third vehicle that they checked fitted the young witness's description of the holdup truck. We still could not be absolutely certain that the impounded truck was the one we were looking for. The same could be said of the driver, Wilbur Rasmussen. The net result of checking impound reports doesn't always result in the apprehension of a suspect, but in this case we were lucky. The driver had been picked up for drunk driving. It was 1:30 p.m. when we checked in at the Wilshire Division.
Hi, Jess. Where is he? You're a little late. What do you mean?
He's gone, released on bail.
Who furnished the bail?
The woman he works for, Mrs. Inez Curtis.
Well, that doesn't figure, Jess, or does it?
Why not? How many people knew Quan had the jade?
No, it's not my guess. Quan vouches for her. He's been doing business with her for years.
What do you think, Joe?
It's your show. I'm just tagging along.
Well, one thing's sure. Just a minute. Wilshire Detectives, Gonzalez. Oh, yeah, Pena. He did? No, meet me back here. Friday and Romero are here.